I've become an introvert in the last couple of years, and the idea of playing a game with someone else is like bringing up a lot of feelings, you know what I mean? It's a lot like going to a party after having spent a long time by yourself. It's nerve-wracking. What do you talk about when you don't actually do anything exciting? Or on the flip side, what if I get nervous and talk too much? This is why Twitter's a bad place for me, because I can't read a room normally when the room is actually a physical room. No way I can read whatever the hell Twitter's supposed to be. Multiplayer games for me are all those feelings without the ability of being able to read intent off of someone's face. So you get all these awkward moments and misunderstandings, and I hate those. My God, do I hate those. You may be the type of person who likes watching the terrible auditions on America's Got Talent, but I'm the type of person who has to leave the room, bury my face in a pillow, and scream the memories of that show out of my head for 15 minutes before resuming my normally scheduled life.
Alive. Oh, is this just fantasy?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
And we have a week, maybe even 2 weeks of this scheduled. How the hell am I going to manage? I remember every awkward moment of my life because they're always unintentional and always witnessed by at least 4 other people. I imagine those stories being passed down from one relative to another, like my shame is becoming a family heirloom. You know how sometimes you say something and someone will start laughing, and because you have no idea why they're laughing, you've elected to laugh with them? That is my every waking moment. It's embarrassing, but at least it's private. But this feels like a tightrope, like every sentence is gonna be a potential wind shear that comes and knocks me off the high wire. So as a reaction, I'll probably just stop talking, but that's like walking out into the middle of the high wire and just standing there staring down at the ground below me. There's no way across this thing but across it. So, what'll happen when I go back to playing games with friends? Will I sound like an idiot? Yeah, but it'll be fun to watch. I was freaking out, not sure why, but I was having trouble even sleeping. Had a bit of an existential crisis, snapped out of it, and here I am, obsessing over the next day because I'm worried about how things are going to go. Are we going to get good footage, or is it going to be boring because it's a turn-based, story-driven CRPG and there's nothing that we could do to make that entertaining? I mean, after all, numbers don't lie. And that's because you haven't subscribed over at my second channel, and you haven't hit the bell and enabled all notifications, because everything about YouTube needs to be more difficult to give the illusion of complexity. And then there's my Patreon, which literally keeps this channel alive. That's not even a joke anymore, but listen to me. I've been so glad here. Looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No. None of this matters at all. I was a little nervous because typically when I start one of these videos, I go out and do a bunch of research beforehand so that the gameplay is smooth, but since this wasn't a how-to, I didn't need to do all that, so I wanted to go into the game with a fresh brain full of faulty memories from the last time I played, maybe 2, maybe even 3 years ago. And if some part of the game was obtuse, I wanted to point that out. I needed to get back to that blind playthrough mindset, because ever since I adopted a less critical stance in my how-tos, I've been ruining certain aspects in the games for myself, and I honestly hate that. I like going in with faulty memories. It's probably what life feels like to someone with Alzheimer's. But I broke down and ended up playing through the first hour of the first chapter offline because I couldn't stand the thought that he might know more than me, and I would be embarrassed to not know more than him. It became a competition. He can't know more than me. I'm the guy who's supposed to know things. If his name was Strat-Edgy, he'd be the guy who knew things, you know what I mean? Then, before I started the game, I glanced over to Discord, saw he was online, and that he was playing Divinity Original Sin 2 without me. I felt betrayed. I know I was betraying him, but he managed to do it first. Embarrassment was in my future. This was for sure. So if I was going to be in for hell for the next couple of days, I was going to enjoy myself. And what better way to unwind from a stressful day of worry and anxiety shits than sitting down and playing some Elden Ring. I cheesed the boss. Sorry honey, no sale. And then I... Okay. And then I... Alright, I'm too far into Elden Ring to enjoy it. So, I needed something else. Perhaps shooting someone in the face in slow motion will do the trick. And I installed the mod for a little extra challenge. I installed Windows 11. No, you're not hallucinating. This is how the Max Payne intro started for me. See, first the sound didn't exist in game, so I had to download some shady sound files from a random website, and guess what?
Standby 1010, investigative reported disturbance at Acer Plaza.
On top of the virus I probably got, the sound files actually worked. Then I noticed that Max was getting magnetically attracted to all the walls as if he were holding a bunch of high-powered magnets in his pant pockets. And I like a challenge just like the next guy, but this might be a little too much even for me. So I tried many fixes, none of which actually worked. And just when I had had enough of getting stuck on geometry, my kids came home from school and gave me an excuse to unplug and to plug in my guitar. When I'm stressed out, I go to plug in my bass guitar and play Rocksmith for about an hour, and after that I'm too mentally tired to do anything else. And here's a random thought. I've been seeing videos pop up in my feed about how Stone Temple Pilots are a rip-off band and the people base their arguments on comparing them to Pearl Jam. And today, I can officially put that to bed. If you've ever tried playing both bands on bass, you'll know that STP had by far the superior bassist. Maybe I should have called this video Chronicles of an ADHD Adult. It was the day of the event, the moment of truth. Have I lost all of my social muscle since I exiled myself to a frontier town in the middle of nowhere, Florida? We're about to find out. I woke up around 7:30, not really wanting to sleep more than that because I knew that I needed at least 30 minutes to actually wake up because until then, I'm usually staring dead-eyed at a wall. Ever since I reached the age of 40, which I remind you is the common age of dying 100 years ago, every time I wake up I feel like I'm recovering from a gunshot wound, like my body is saying, come on, how many more years of this shit? Langolini's on the other side of the world, so he's already well into the evening when I get online. And when I saw that he's not online yet, I sent him a message. Maybe something happened, you know? A meeting rescheduled, perhaps. Perhaps God, if he was out there, saw fit to grant me the wish that had been floating around in my subconscious. A reason to scrap this whole thing. At this point, it wasn't even about playing a multiplayer game anymore. I've done that before with Langolini and Elden Ring, but here's the thing. Elden Ring is full of drama, tense moments, and experiencing that with a friend is really fun. Divinity is the opposite of whatever that experience is. Strategizing might be fun for us, but I can't imagine a world in which it's fun to watch. 10 minutes go by, no word from Langolini. I respond by searching my closet for church clothes. 15 minutes and I get a message. Fine enough today, head is a bit weird in a being a bit stupid way, but otherwise I'm fine. Nice, he's feeling stupid. I ask him if he's up for the stream and he responds back with, yeah, of course, why are you being weird? I scream at the ceiling, why have you forsaken me? And my neighbors respond by stomping their feet. So we begin. Hello everyone, this is Paul. Oh wait, I'll wait for the OBS to actually start connecting. Anytime you're ready, OBS. Yeah, anytime you're ready, OBS. Alright, you there, OBS? You there? Do you have signs of life? Okay. Alright then. Oh boy, wouldn't be a stream if there wasn't at least one fuck up, no matter how hard I try. Hello everyone, this is Paul. You weren't here because I hadn't started the stream yet. But I thought I had, like 10 minutes ago. I was pretty sure of it even, but no, unfortunately all I did was hit record. So now, here we are, doing the intro again. Hello everyone, this is Paul. This is Strat-Edgy, in case you wandered here off the street. And what we're doing right now is we're doing some Divinity Original Sin. That's right. We already did this. Why are we doing it again? Well, because now we know our builds a little better, and we want to go ahead and start from scratch again. Oh my god, this controller, again, doing the shit that it does. The first day started a bit rough. Technical errors aside, we got off to a cracking start. There's an insane amount of build versatility here, just on paper. All the synergies that are possible in the skills section alone is a whole video, but also the attributes, the fact that Polymorph grants you an extra attribute point, which is insane. There's so much to try, but that's the thing about this game. The difficulty scales the way it does because of those synergies. You become so powerful by the end of the game that the game is sprinting to catch up to you, and it does, crazily enough. But since this game is going to be so power intensive, I'm going to need to carry my weight because, well, just look at what he's rocking here.
Good. Nice, I could get a shot off before the fight started. And you can bring them all to... No, bleed is armor dependent, right?
Yeah, probably physical armor.
God damn it.
Yeah, you just have to run over there really fast and start picking them up.
Should have done that. In her face.
Nice. I started to feel really weak by the time we got to the turtles. That fight went kind of okay, thanks to some good strategy and positioning. No, I started to feel a little weak when I got put on my back in this fight with these Magisters. Me.
Yeah. But you're gonna have to use a health potion.
Oh my god. Oh boy.
That's not bad.
Not bad, he says. Yeah, you know what? If I wanted to watch somebody play a game instead of actually playing a game, I would be watching Twitch instead of streaming to Twitch. See, the game's only fun when you're playing it, right? It's obviously not fun when you die and you just have to sit and wait. But like, how else would you handle death in a game like this? There's plenty of restoration scrolls in this game, so it shouldn't become a problem. And you get to use them in battle and reposition the person like almost like a teleportation spell. So to me, they did a really good job handling death in a multiplayer game, which technically, I mean, I've seen a lot of games try to do it and they've done it much worse. So I really like how they handled it here. Death can almost be strategic, like you can die just so that you can get better positioning when you get resurrected.
Magisters circle an elf, weapons drawn. The hound barks to draw their attention.
But why is this fight happening in the first place? This guy here, he pulled his wiener out, and she caught him, and now he's embarrassed and she's pressing charges. But you see, that's not going to happen because he's a cop, and all of his soldiers are on his side, so it's like social commentary, but the why of the battle's not as important as how it was carried out. And best of all, who won?
Please don't move. Thank you.
Hey, we did it! That was a fight that we had no business winning, and we managed to nonetheless, but it was then that I realized the terrifying truth. My character just isn't beefy enough. So I put on a shield which nearly doubled my physical and magical armor and invested in the Constitution. I was decked out in magical armor and had pockets ready to be filled with stolen goods. I was ready to go on a shopping spree. Where the fuck is that at?
Take your coin then.
Where the fuck is his leather chest armor at? I see it. Okay, I'm getting the fuck out of there.
Skill on it.
I just got his chest armor, yo. I stole it right from under him.
Holy shit.
I stole everything I could get my hands on and even stole from some places I didn't even need to just to see if I could. And man, if there's one thing I could say about thievery, it's this. Pickpocketing is the most OP social skill in the game. Pair this up with a high bartering and suddenly you're packing coins into your pockets handfuls at a time. Gonna need a backpack just to carry all your gold around. You won't be afraid of anybody stealing it either because you'll need a forklift just to pick the shit up off the ground. So, we get into some trouble. Langolini kills some poor folk off screen, as the game explains it, turns them into charcoal, which I think is going to make it really difficult for their wife and kids to identify them after they ship them back home in bags. They'll have to make tough decisions like, do we keep the bag of coal around in remembrance of our dad, or do we use dad to heat our home? What I'm saying is, Langolini is a true German. He doesn't care about your life. If you got $10 in your pocket, he's gonna stab you and take it. Whenever I'd ask him why are we killing somebody, he'd respond with some version of, because we get EXP and their items. I think that's actually what Ted Bundy told the cops when they asked him why he killed all those people, like word for word. Eventually we get to a place where we couldn't just fight our way through. This mage asshole, he's the kind of guy who summons in dudes to help you. And finally, Langolini gets a taste of what it's like for the AI to fight us. Our problem was we didn't coordinate enough or think our decisions through. The pressures of keeping up an entertaining stream were too much, and we were more concerned with keeping a steady pace, and because we made one small, insignificant seeming mistake. You can teleport him back into the fire if you want.
Yeah, that was my idea. Just back into the fire in range of my imp, so...
This moment right here is where we lost the fight. It may not seem like much, but teleporting him to the fire lost us the game, because see these guys in the gimp suits that are closing in? Those assholes heal him for a ton of damage, and it becomes impossible to harm him enough to overcome the heals. If we teleported him away from the fire, and thus away from the gimp's closing distance, we could have killed him before his minions had a chance to heal him. It's counterintuitive, but I'm willing to bet that the added pressure of playing on Twitch contributed to this loss. That's when I had the idea. Maybe next week, instead of planning on ending the video, we play offline instead. Like we were doing a study, you know? How much better would we synergize if we could relax and not feel pressure to perform? And we'd be doing the whole thing through Steam Remote Play, but will it work for someone who lives in Germany playing with someone in Florida? And quit game and then we'll relaunch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Should probably.
It's a really nice
feature.
feature.
On. You know what's a nice feature on stream is if you can actually see the person's screen. Go ahead, go down to quit game.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. All right. Thanks. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and relaunch the game now. We had one more day of streaming to get through before we could play offline and feel a bit more natural, and I had to be talked into doing it. Langolini has been managing me for a while now, and the thing that seems to get under his skin more than anything about me is that I say I'm going to stream and then I don't. And you know what? He's got a point. But at this point, I think it's pretty on brand. I mean, I kind of do this with everything, including videos. Remember how I was supposed to do Fallout 3? Yeah, it's good stuff. And one more day of trying to entertain while plowing through a tough, thought-intensive game. Would we do better this time? Was my strat of teleporting him away going to work? It's not fun.
That's perfect, by the way.
Reaches out and gently strokes your cheek.
Okay, don't do anything yet. Because we actually don't want him over there. We want him, we want him way over in the corner.
Like the bottom right?
No. As far over into that corner. No. Closer to the bed. Back over. No. Come on, back over where you were.
This.
Yes, that corner right there.
That's not a bed. I mean.
Well, okay. That is a laying flat thing that you can lay down on.
Fine. Do we concentrate on his normal armor, because then I make a blood imp?
Yes, normal armor, because that's what kind of damage I do. ESL.
Yeah. I'm gonna move away because the silencers can fuck me over pretty hard. Because as you can see, it does 34 to 36 damage.
Wow,
I mean,
man.
Oh my god.
Dude,
summoning is really good.
Being able to use him twice is crazy.
Yeah. And now he has bleed on it.
But I would do what you're doing. That's a good idea.
On the high ground, so the range is better for my stuff.
All right.
Because maybe I can actually hit them already.
Yeah.
Ah, damn.
It's gonna hit him. That's gonna hit him.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah, no, see? Okay, so let's knock him down one more time.
Yeah, because
just for shits and giggles.
Can teleport by switching with his mates. We don't want that.
Yeah, we just want him dead. And not only did it work, but we absolutely wrecked these fools! And all it took was just a little pre-planning before the first attack went off. So many of the previous fights went off without us realizing we were too close to an enemy and started the fight prematurely, or we just rushed into things head on. But now, we were talking a lot more, getting a clearer picture of what we were about to fight instead of throwing caution to the wind, and best of all, we were winning. And even more best of all, the things were starting to feel casual again. A prelude, perhaps, to what playing offline would actually feel like. But then, in my next fight, I got taught a little lesson about psychopathic players who play mages with teleportation gloves. Sometimes they can teleport the enemy's sword right into your sphincter. God damn it.
He can't hit you up. Okay, that's a bit bullshitty, but alright. Okay. Can I resurrect you from down where I am?
I have no idea. I just know that you're next. Langolini had taken the dark path. The path to sacrificing his friends at the altar at EXP. Is there nothing that this man will not destroy for a little handful of experience? My build was not up to this par that he was setting, and I was pretty far away from the next level.
So I'm just gonna do this actually. How? I'm pretty sure if I would stand there, I couldn't hit him. Yeah,
I guess.
End my turn. It missed, but that's fine. Because my imp usually doesn't miss. If it's in range, it is. Right in his face. Just stay there. I actually want him to get down if possible, or shoot my imp further. Yes, yes, yes! Idiot! Idiot! That's, on the other hand, a little problem, but, well, we can work with it. Okay, a normal one has to do. I can summon then every turn, so it doesn't matter. Then I'm forced him to come to me. Mother...
Wow. I was starting to see that I was spreading out my points way too much and therefore not really excelling at any one thing. I needed to spend points less on secondary skills and more on primaries. Get my damage up, but my defense also. More points into Constitution. I needed a few things to get this build working, and one of them was a shield. I had spent points on two-handed early in the game, but now I was regretting that choice because without a shield, I couldn't stay alive, and on top of that, my weapon was terrible. So, we decided to double back to town and upgrade all our stuff. Whirlwind! Oh my god, Whirlwind is the shit. And now that we're all geared up, it was time to tackle the guards on the ramparts. See, there's some high-level gear on these people, and as Langolini always says, we need that experience. Professional killers, we are, but we justified it under the guise of liberating the camp. So we set up a series of ambushes that made a joke out of this normally difficult fight.
We triggered 2. But I think that's still fine.
And at this point, we're pretty powerful, and we had already spent 2 days screwing around in the opening area. Langolini needed more, however. He needed more murder. He was never sated. He needed more body parts to consume, tasty flesh to get caught in between the back of his teeth, the kind of meat you save for later, and when you go rooting around in the back of your mouth with the edge of your nail and a little of that flavor memory comes surging back again, and it's like you're there again, making a feast out of some guy's feet. It was making him stronger, but wilder, more feral. I didn't like the look in his eyes. Luckily, I was able to sway his bloodlust for the moment, and we continued on, facing many skeletons. It was by this point that my build was starting to feel pretty good. Of course, we were coordinating really well by this point. Then we met Wendigo, and we smashed her face into some rocks and stole all her kit, and it was pretty decent stuff too, well worth the effort. Then we had the most epic fight ever against a horde of maggots that I think may have actually made Langolini sweat a little bit. And that marked the end of our streaming journey. And in just a few short days, we'd be finishing out this video by playing offline for a few days just to see how it felt, because today, I'm gonna admit it, it felt incredible. Like we were sitting on a couch next to one another, riffing, making fun of one another as we slowly progressed across the landscape. It was really nice. Looks like the levels are all good. Let me get the microphone closer to my mouth so you can hear me. So you can hear me breathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
you know, like those creeps on movies.
It's important that they can ASMR. I can ASMR them to sleep. That's apparently important. People use my videos to sleep apparently. So thank you for that.
Monitor. I mean, did I have to do that?
Ants in my eyes. When did I create that profile? I must have been like super irritated with some like ants in my eyes. Okay.
I didn't even notice. Nice.
Okay. It must have been like when I was playing with Kane and I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna call this one ants in my eyes because I'm so fucking tired of this. So I was just like tired of like I think like the first time we played we spent like an hour trying to figure out how to actually get the second player in. I was looking forward to this part the most, to the point where we started playing a little early. We were supposed to take a long break because I was personally starting to feel a little wrung out. Streaming will do that to me sometimes, especially when playing a game that could be a bit slow-paced. Those kinds of games I normally like to enjoy by myself, where I could sit and take in the dialogue, bask in the story, bathe myself in lore. But when you're playing to an audience, all of that sort of goes out the window. The last thing you're thinking about is the lore or even the story. Hell, in fact, I'm lucky I remember anything about a story after I stream it because I'm too worried about the performance than the content that I'm actually engaging with. That's a me problem, by the way. I know I do it, but I can't stop doing it. The only game where this type of formula worked on stream was Disco Elysium. At least it clicked for me, and that should be obvious why. The dialogue was fun to read out loud. The performance was baked in. There was no ambiguity as to how each sense sounded in the detective's head. It made the job easier is what I'm saying. With Divinity, you really gotta work for it because the star of the show is the combat, but so much of it is spent dicking around in the open world trying to find the next thing to do. Larian does this interesting thing with their levels in that they design them linearly, in that you generally progress in a single direction, and events will happen in these areas with multiple entrance points. This is interesting because you may run into a fight in the open world that looks difficult from one entrance, but then you say screw it, we'll come back later, and you explore a little bit more, and then you find another entrance, and that has you in a much more advantageous position because of the advantages granted to you by height or cover, or just the fact that the enemy has to close distance from very far away. Popping out of cover to take a pot shot, then ducking back in, and that's the thing that is interesting about it. The thing that is annoying about it is that, at least in Fort Joy and the surrounding area, the maze-like design caused us to double back a lot, and we ended up back in the place where we just left. In fact, I'm pretty positive we were actually going in circles more than once. Not a fan of that kind of level design, where you have to navigate with your map out. You know, the design of maps feels a lot less chaotic in Baldur's Gate 3, so it looks like they've been able to refine this technique over multiple titles, and have finally, I think, come to a high point in their design. I mean, here's to hoping that BG3 ends up a worthy successor to the original series. So the day started a little strange. Langolini hit me up, said he was free if I felt like playing. Said that the last couple of days of playing has rekindled the joy of games in him, and that he's been looking forward to playing games again, which is great, and it really shows because his character is so damn good, and if I'm not careful, I'll become completely useless and end up just riding his coattails to the end of the game. We started the game by figuring out where we wanted to go first, and because we were relying on remote play, he could see my map, and because we were looking at the same real-time information, it made this part of the coordinating a lot easier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can teleport the fire plant away. Yeah, teleport them maybe back here where the oil is. I love the problem-solving tasks. More multiplayer games need this kind of problem-solving. Logic and visual-based problem-solving. Because, as the saying goes, 2 pairs of eyes are better than 1 when it comes to problem-solving, and it's way more fun than it has any right to be. I mean, I guess it's true. Anything can be fun when you're doing it with a friend. The best thing about this type of multiplayer problem solving is that it feels collaborative, whereas the combat can feel a little every man for himself, especially playing Lone Wolf.
Make shit go away. Man, wings are really nice.
Yeah, they are. What the hell is that though?
Stand back and keep your hands off your weapons. Convince me you're no magister, or draw one last deep breath.
It makes me happy that they voice acted so much of this.
Yeah. Also well.
Yeah. When you experience a game with someone, you don't just experience it mechanically or engage with the story, you're engaging with the game at every level, even the level of critique or appreciation. And that's another really interesting thing about these types of online role-playing genres. The thing that was unique about Neverwinter Nights before it, having the ability to experience not just the game at its surface level, but being able to appreciate or argue about the merits of this or that with someone else, makes the experience special to each person you play it with. Then there's the recollecting of the story, because I rarely remember everything that's happening within a story when I play with others, because we're too busy creating our own story through the gameplay. Yeah, somebody might want us to get a cat down out of a tree, but we were planning on cutting that tree down anyway, so fuck the cat, we need lumber. When playing a multiplayer game, you're making a story. Whether it be a shooter or an RPG, the story is what you did, not what the game expected you to do. And any game that can allow you to make those kind of memories with someone else is an experience that anyone without a life should experience at least once before you go to Tijuana and end it all in a mountain of Colombian marching powder so high that you bury your head in and inhale and your heart explodes before you could suffocate. It's not just the moment-to-moment gameplay that enhances the experience. The group enhances it with its social aspect and all the weird pressures that come with it, but it can also ruin the experience. For example, say you're playing with someone who's already played through the game a number of times and they're no longer interested in the dialogue and they just want to fight everything that they see. And whenever they're forced into dialogue, they skip it as fast as they can. Now that can really ruin the experience if both players are not in 100% agreement. It's a very peculiar relationship, not unlike marriage, except you're not deciding on anything all that important and neither of you have to see each other's O-face. Unless you want to. What's in this place?
It is the laboratory of a lunatic. A place removed from mercy and sanity where mad Brachus Rex would experiment to his dark heart's content. There are ruins in the marshes. Stonework vultures that perch above the king's long-buried treasure.
Oh, we gotta go do that.
Yep.
That sounds like something we definitely need to go do.
I just wanted to attack her. Don't know why I had this feeling I have to do it, but...
That's what separates the psychos from the functioning psychos.
I mean, if we go up the ledge and I teleport the salamander on the ledge, the other ones have to get up there.
You could do that, yeah, and then I can run in to intercept him, maybe.
Do I see him up there?
He's behind a tree. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I'll show you which one I'm talking about.
This one, right?
Yep, that's the guy.
Oh.
You could teleport him over to me, if you want. Over this way.
Are you in my line of sight? Yes, you are.
Yeah.
There?
Yep. That seems good.
He's talking? Oh, I'm not in battle right now, so I can position myself better.
So can I.
Nice. I'm gonna stay on the high ground if that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I get the extra range. Is there blood on the ground?
Shit, okay,
No,
that guy's gonna come and get us. That's okay.
Yeah. Can you make him bleed?
I have to get through his armor first. Aggro.
Also, yeah, but he will have a lot of armor and stuff, so...
Okay.
And he has attacks of opportunity, so if they want to run away from him, they can't.
Okay.
Holy shit! Ah, that's really good.
And now you can put down another totem.
Yep.
It's so fucking stupid. We finished the Trompe-l'oeil mission by trouncing his clones and gaining as much EXP as possible, and once we got to the end, we were greeted with a series of phylactery bottles, and one of these vessels held Trompe-l'oeil's soul. You find out that Trompe-l'oeil's story had a logical reason for why he is the way he is when we meet him. It sort of pulls a bait and switch really, a satisfying one, but a bait and switch nonetheless.
Sucks to be him, right?
As long as the jar stays unbroken, I can never truly die.
What do you say? He's an unsufferable rat of a man and deserves his fate. That's pretty fitting, right? Let's pick that one. Unless you're opposed to it.
No, go for it.
The tears flow faster and faster.
So spot on. Okay, good to know.
Because when he tells you which jar is his jar, for all you know, he could be playing another joke on you, as he's already done several times before. But after hearing the story of the soul trapped inside, there could be no doubt. And at the end, we got some really good magical gear and a whole lot of stuff to sell. But the real treasures were the memories we made along the way. Langolini starts our final day by telling me that he's been dreaming about Divinity, dreaming about skill points, ability scores, and skill books, and excited he's begun telling me what his next purchase is going to be. And I'm glad he's excited, but I still have no idea what this video is even about. If you were wondering, guess what? You're not the only one. The footage we got was great. We ended up acing the last fight at the docks to end Act 1. We were barely harmed by the Void Worm, which is probably just us getting lucky, to be honest, but it ended up focusing on hitting the guards, and because it did that, we were able to kill the bastard fairly quickly, and then mop up the remaining guards. Together we were a force to be reckoned with, and we ended it there, but I wasn't feeling all that great, and it had nothing to do with him. It was just this feeling that had been sort of pulsing through my brain on a loop, financials, analytics, and cold sweats. What am I going to name this video? What kind of clickbait can I give it to get people to actually come in and watch it? All this stuff that is exterior to the act of creating one of these products. But unlike the other days, what I noticed is that I was way lower energy today. I had the idea of doing a multiplayer video. I was super excited when I got the idea because it seemed like a good idea. But multiplayer, it's a personal thing. It's interpersonal, right? But still personal to the group. It's not really a public consumption thing. Other people might be able to pull it off, but for me, maybe not. I was beginning to think, at least. I honestly didn't know what I was doing going into it because it had been so long since I had played anything social with friends. When you start a family, your social experiences are with your kids mostly because it's all you got time for, if you're doing it the way it says in the manual, of course. And I know that sounds a lot like a cliche, but there's truth to it. Your life ends up becoming your family and everything else just sort of gets pushed outside that circle. Then everything you do, including your job, becomes about them. Why am I trying to climb the corporate ladder? So I can send my kids to private school. Why am I robbing this liquor store? Because the YouTube algorithm is cruel. Why am I meditating? So I don't choke my kids. When I talked to my eldest son, I was talking to him about the drama, the weirdness of my day job and how I was starting to feel like a hack. He had been playing a lot of Monster Hunter with his friends, so I asked him, what is it that you like about playing multiplayer games? And to understand his answer, I kind of need to give you some context. Recently, he lived in Arkansas and West Virginia most recently, and things got tough economically, mistakes were made, and he came back to live with us in not too great a circumstance. He's sleeping on a couch in our living room until we could find our way to move back to our old house. He had to leave his friends and move out to the middle of nowhere, Florida, in exile, with me, with no civilization or the perks of civilization. He told me that he plays those multiplayer games to feel close to his friends once again. He doesn't get to hug them or see their faces, but he gets to hear their voices, their laughter, and he can imagine their smiles from just that stimuli. It's the only positive interaction he gets throughout the day that isn't toxic customer service in a gas station type of interaction, which is a lot of homeless people screaming in your face or people threatening your life. Multiplayer games are the escape and the closeness simulator. It allows him to interact in a positive and meaningful way with other people, a way to not feel so alone. Both myself and Langolini commented that playing this game has rekindled our love for games, but not just for games, but multiplayer games in particular. And I'm not gonna lie, it's done the same for me. I've been thinking about all those possibilities that are possible for someone like us with like Neverwinter Nights. I've always wanted an excuse to dust off that Dungeon Master's toolkit and start a campaign that we'll never finish, but in a way, this just felt like a form of self-improvement for me, because since I moved down here, my social interactions have been limited, and interacting with someone, even on a vocal level, has been sort of therapeutic. But at the end of the day, all it's really made me do is miss real-world people that much more. At the end, I know what this video is really about. It's about how one good multiplayer game can rekindle a love for playing games with friends that may have been lost around the time of this pandemic, or rekindled during it, or perhaps it's a joy that you lost even longer than that. You're gonna get to rediscover some of your childhood joy by going through those experiences. Whatever the case may be, there's something to be said for making some time for your friends and playing some games.